back to ASMcaR. The mic is on, and away we go. Today we are going to be flipping through the complete guide to not Formula, my Midwest accent, Formula One. This is the 2025 preview, everything we know about the next season. And this is the 75th year of Formula One. Perfect. Perfect. How teams perform lightning fast pit stops. Team tactics explained. And this is new. The cars, the drivers, the teams, the circuits, and more. And don't worry, it's 100% unofficial. That is, it's just funny. If you're new here, welcome. We hit 250 subscribers. Y'all, this is wild. I am having the best time. I am loving all of your comments. The feedback is just so amazing, and I can't thank you enough for giving me that feedback, like from suggestions on sound to content ideas to, saying this could be better if you did that. Like, obviously, as this channel grows, I'm not going to be able to accommodate every single person's wish and desire, but, I created this channel because I didn't see a lot of specific ASMR, at least the ASMR that I enjoy, which is very old school, that was just centered around racing, specifically Formula One and IndyCar open-wheeled racing. So I cannot thank you enough. I just started an Instagram page, and it's the same name. I put a link in it in the description, I think. But YouTube is something that I'm not a YouTuber. So it's something that I don't necessarily know how to connect with the people watching my videos or my content as quickly. So if you want to go follow that, feel free. I am, again, very new to this, and I just wanted to say thank you for 250 subscribers. That's really crazy in 2 months. But here's to doing more of these together. So inside, we're going to find a record-breaking drivers, engineering, innovations, and the evolution of motorsport in this very, I wouldn't say it's thin, but this not very thick publication. We're going to get the evolution of motorsport. But don't worry, it's 100% unofficial. Now, I got this at Barnes and Noble, I want to say, and I think it was, it's listed as $21.99, so I think I did actually spend like $20 on this, and I didn't realize it because I was in the magazine section. The Lando Norris Autosport magazine that we did, I'll put a card right here, that was bought at the same time as this publication. And the best thing about that publication is now I have the digital subscription, so we can walk through all of those publications digitally. This was printed in the UK, and I'm pretty sure the other one was printed in the UK as well. And if it wasn't in the UK, it was definitely It was definitely not in America. So this welcome page says, with the new season about to begin, it's an exciting time to be a Formula One fan. This year marks the 75th anniversary of the sport, and its popularity is greater than ever. There has been a surge in viewership in recent years, with all the twists and turns and championship drama both on and off the track, drawing in millions of fans all over the world. In this special edition, we bring you everything you need to know about motor racing's highest speed thrills and awe-inspiring skills. If you're new to F1, why not start with our brief history of the sport? Then check out the Bluffer's Guide to get to grips with the basics. Also inside, you can take a tour of the championship circuits, learn more about the teams, and explore the Drivers' Hall of Fame. If you want to discover more about what's going on behind the scenes, delve into the world of team strategies and the amazing technology behind the cars. Finally, you can look ahead to the future as we consider what to expect for the upcoming season, as well as changes to expect for the challenges the sport can expect in years to come. Whether you're an F1 newcomer or a lifelong fan, we hope you'll enjoy the ride. And I hope you'll enjoy the ride as I am sitting down. I'm actually about to go through a move right now, so yeah, I don't know. I mean, the setup should be the same because I'm just at my desk, but I've started doing more of these publication videos, and I wear glasses when I read, and my microphone is literally in my mouth right now to have, the proximity and the levels, but I'm looking down, but I'm also looking at the screen right now. Normally when I build like Legos or I do any like show and tell, I'll be looking straight ahead, so the camera's overhead, but reading, I'm not used to reading on the screen while it's down in front of me, so I go a little cross-eyed, so I appreciate you dealing with me losing my place or stumbling over some things. But here we go. We have the contents as the introduction, the teams and drivers. We have all of the drivers. Well, this is an old photo because I see Bottas. Oh my God, there's Danny Ricciardo. So this is 100% unofficial. 75 years of Formula One, the evolution of an F1 car, innovations, Bluffer's Guide, and circuits in focus. Australia, China, Japan, Bahrain, Saudi Arabia, Miami, all of which we've concluded this 2025 season. Look at this picture of Charles. Gosh, I love these cars, are so sexy to me. They are the most beautiful cars I've ever seen in my life. 75 years of Formula One. So as F1 celebrates a milestone anniversary in 2025, we'll look back on its evolution with a brief history of the sport. I actually have something that I'm very excited to share with you all. I'm going to kind of skip over the 75 years of Formula One in here. Maybe we can come revisit it, but I told you I was moving, and I went to go drop off some clothes at Goodwill, and there's books right next door, and so I dropped off these clothes, and I was like, you know what, I'm going to just walk in there, see if they have any more publications like this, or books. The two other books that we have are also from Half-Price Books, and you will not believe I found a signed autographed book on the American, I think it's called the American experience American journey of Formula One, and it is signed by Mario Andretti. I promise you, the book is like worth $100 retail, and I got it for $12.99, and I was like, I don't really need this. Like, we have other books that we've gone through on this channel that we can revisit, and I looked down and it's signed by Mario Andretti. So, and not like printed signature, like it's with a Sharpie. So, I bought it and we'll go through that. I'm very, very excited, but it's a lot of this. I mean, it's a lot of like the history, and we have those other books, but this shows you that the 2008 title race was the most dramatic ever, decided in the last few seconds and the last few meters. Is that right? Meters? Metries. I'm from America, y'all, so is how they say meters in Europe. There's Roman Grosjean. Oh, this is cool. The evolution of an evolution of an F1 car, which very similar. They have very similar roots, but this is F1 car. So take a look at how much the technology and design of Formula One cars have changed from 1950 to today. We have the chassis. So this says the first Formula One cars featured its steel tubular frame and aluminum or aluminium bodywork for my European friends. Aluminium. Now, the cars use a monocoque design made of carbon fiber, which is stiffer and allows for a lower frontal area. So this part right here. So as you can see, it goes lower. So this is the monocoque, whereas the original was more tubular. Dude. Shows you brakes were aluminium, drum brakes were used, which were similar to road cars of the time. Modern carbon brake disc can generate 5 grams of stopping force. 5 G's. 5 grams. 5 G's, right? I mean, that's the way it looks like when I measure my food, so I would assume it's 5 G's, not 5 grams, but I don't know. Stopping force with and withstand temperatures up to 1,000 degrees Celsius, which is almost, it's 1,832 degrees Fahrenheit. So they went from a 1.5 liter supercharged inline 8-cylinder engine, which produced 350 bph, to now a 1.6 liters V6 engine with a singular turbocharged and 2 hybrid electric systems, which generates up to 1,000 bph. Early F1 cars could reach top speeds of around 290 kilometers per hour. Kilometers, that's right. Or kilometers. Sorry, America here, which is 180 miles per hour. It's, so like, obviously I know that the metric system, like I know what it is, but, you know, I run and it's like 5K, but it's like a big K. So like seeing like little K, PH, kilometers, right? Tell me if I'm wrong, because it's just weird reading this because it's printed in the UK. Now the top speeds can exceed 354 kph, which is around 220 miles per hour, and cars can accelerate from 0 to 100 kph or 60 miles per hour in just 2 seconds on average. A modern F1 car can decelerate from 100 kph or 60 miles per hour to 0 just over just 15 meters under 50 feet. So this was the Alfa Romeo 158 in 1950, and this is the McLaren MCL 38, which was the 2024 Constructors World Championship car. So you can see the difference between steering wheel, then it was an actual wheel. This is more like a game controller. The suspension, this really juts out from the car, whereas this was a little bit closer to the tubular chassis. Obviously protection for the drivers. We have the halo, the helmets, the roll bar. This is really called the survival cell. Drivers use protective racewear and now sit much lower. The carbon fiber Kevlar composite survival cell and halo system provide much greater protection in the event of a crash or flying debris. I could talk about that. I could go on that spread for days. So this was our first race of the season, Australia, in Albert Park. And then we went to China, Shanghai, and then Suzuka, Japan, where it rained. I like driving this, or racing this circuit on F125 or F124. Here we have more of the F1 innovations. Steering wheel buttons, so it's like an actual game controller and has a display and everything. Kinetic energy recovery system. So my car actually has this. I think a lot more cars have this now, but I have a 2014 or 15 BMW i3, and it has a kinetic energy recovery system. And I'm pretty sure that Teslas have this too. So part of F1's commitment to hybrid drivetrain technology, KERS, or KERS, I don't know what the correct way to say that is, but it's kinetic energy recovery system, allows a car to recover energy that would have been lost as heat when braking. F1 cars can also make use of heat from the turbocharger. This energy is then stored either in a battery or in a flywheel and accessed when needed. I would normally cut that out, but that was an engine, so we'll keep that in. Either in a battery or a flywheel, and is accessed when needed to give a boost to power output, helping to overtake or defend against overtaking. First introduction to F1 in 2009, it is now used on road cars as well. Hybrid and electric vehicles commonly use regenerative braking to charge their batteries, for example. So like my car gets better, it doesn't take gas, but it gets better range in the city when I'm braking and in traffic than it does on a highway. Okay, here's the Bluffers Guide to F1. New to Formula One. Here's what you need to know to sound like an expert. How many teams are there? So team number fluctuates as constructors enter and leave the sport. Ferrari are the only teams who have completed in every year of Formula One since 1950. In 2025, there will be 10 teams, each entering 2 cars on each race weekend, as well as their 2 drivers' teams, also carrying reserve drivers who can step in if needed. How many races are there each season? So this varies. There were only 7 in the first Formula One season back in 1950. In 2025, there will be 24 races known as a Grand Prix, and 6 sprints stretching from March 16th to December 7th, taking place all the circuits. And then we went to Miami. I used to live in Florida. I have not been to this race. I live in Austin, Texas now, and I went to the USGP last year. That was my first in-person GP. So here we are in the next section where we meet the teams, the Hall of Fame, drivers training, team tactics, pit stops, rivalries, and the 2024 season reviewed. There's Max Verstappen. So here we will meet the teams, enter the high-tech garages of the 10 constructors on the Formula One grid. So we have Alpine. And it shows the team history, so Dolman, is it Benetton, Renault, Lotus, Renault, to Alpine again. And then we have Aston Martin, which went from Aston Martin 1959 to 1960 to Jordan Racing 1991 to 2005, Midland, Spiker, is that Spiker? I'm sorry if I'm mispronouncing these. I wasn't a Formula One fan in 2007. I wasn't even watching racing in 2007. And then Force India, and then Racing Point, and then Aston Martin from 2021 to present. Here we have Scuderia Ferrari. This is Carlos Sainz 55. I was expecting a 16. I love Carlos. I also love Charles. Charles and I actually have the same birthday. And when I went to the race in Austin last year, that's all I wanted to do. It happens in October, like the second or third weekend of October. And he ended up winning, and that's all I wanted to do for my birthday. So I went by myself, which was like, everyone's like, why? And I was like, I actually loved it. And he actually won. So even though I'm a very big Lando Norris fan, like Lando is my driver, I would say Charles is a close second. I love Charles Leclerc. I love Carlos Sainz too, but I wouldn't say like I'm a huge Williams fan. I'm more driver loyal in that case, but I want Williams to win because I do like Alex Albon, and I obviously like Carlos Sainz. But they are the oldest team, the only remaining team that is still competing in the sport since day one. Then we have Haas. America is the market that Formula One would love to crack, but it faces stiff competition with NASCAR and IndyCar. That hasn't stopped American industrialist Gene Haas setting up the first American-led team in Formula One since the 1960s or 1980s. Most independent constructors purchase engines of the established manufacturers, but Haas did the things a little differently. They entered a close partnership with Ferrari that allows them not to just use the Italian company's engines, but to benefit from extra technological support. Haas has also taken on Ferrari's junior drivers like Mick Schumacher and Antonio Giovinazzi, giving them a first taste of F1 racing. The relationship has raised eyebrows around the paddock since mainly insiders regard Haas to be little more than a Ferrari testing ground. But if Haas do not have an unfair advantage compared to their independent rivals, it hasn't translated to better results. Haas finished bottom of the pile in 2023, and the embarrassing 2021 season saw them fail to clinch a single point. So they were initiated or brought into Formula One in 2016, and they're still there today, obviously. obviously. I mean, I'm not gonna say anything. I like their drivers. I love Esteban and Ollie Behrman, but yeah, they're probably honestly, I'm in between Haas and Kick. I would rather go Kick, but anyway, back to my team. This is my team. I am brand loyal to McLaren, and I was just chatting with someone in the comments today about how I try to stay as neutral as possible on these videos because I really value like neutral like reporting, and not that I'm doing this to be like informative, but I don't want my opinions or my team or my driver to influence the content that I make, if that makes any sense. Like, I don't want, if I dislike a driver, to not share something really cool about them if it happens, because it's like, that's what this whole channel is. It's like all of it, but I do want it to be like personable and you get to know my experience. So McLaren is my team. I grew up in Indianapolis and I grew up with IndyCar, so I didn't follow Formula One. And someone gave me a diecast model of a McLaren, and I think it was 2000, so I was 7 years old. And I took it to school for show and tell, and they all of the kids were like, "That's a Formula One car," and I was like, "No, it's an Indy car," because I loved IndyCar. But I was 7, like and we didn't have like phones at 7 years old when I was a kid, or the internet. Really, I mean, there was the internet, but it wasn't like as accessible as it is today. So I was like, "No, it's an Indy car," but come to find out, it wasn't a Formula One car, and it was a McLaren. And I'll bring it on the channel. We'll go through it, and I'll show it to you guys. But it stayed at my parents' house for the longest time, and then when I found Formula One, like as an adult, I fell in love with Lando Norris. He was the first race that I watched intentionally with like, I want to be an F1 fan, was Miami of 2024. I didn't watch Drive to Survive. I followed IndyCar for a while, but I was like, let me start following F1 the way that I follow IndyCar, because it's just a little bit, it's weird. It's not more accessible, but it is. Like, it's more popular, but it's not. So I was like, I just want to see like what the hype is and like what the difference is, and I'm so glad I did. But Lando Norris won his first race, Miami 2024, and that was the very first race that I intentionally sat down and watched. And at that point, they were like the underdog to Red Bull, and so like I followed that half of that season all the way to the end, and just was like, I am obsessed with this, almost to the point where I love both the sports, Indy and F1, but like F1 has my heart. Like, I don't know what it is. So I think Lando is like special, and McLaren is special, and also because I have that car, I will always be like, they piss me off. They piss me off more than anyone else. They're like your family. Like, I did like this last race in Canada. Oh my gosh. And normally I would be like hard on Lando, but I was like, this one I was like, that's what happens when you let them race. And I'm glad that Lando took the chance. It was better than him saying, oh, he tried to push me off and not take it. I'm gonna move on. Mercedes. There's Lewis and George. And then Racing Bulls, V-Carb, Visa Cash App, Racing Bulls. I don't like this livery as much as I like their livery now. That's like all white and has the yellow. I mean, it looks like the inverted version of this, which is Red Bull. So they went from Stewart to Jaguar to Red Bull. And Racing Bulls went from, oh, there's a bunch. Toro Rosso, AlphaTauri, Red Bull, Racing Bulls. That's why if you watch the like F-175, they were like, this is how we say our name. Visa Cash App Racing Bulls. Like, that's too much. But I do like VCAR, but I am not a, here we go with like the personal opinions. I am not a Red Bull fan. So, murder me in the comments. I'm not a Red Bull fan. I really enjoy Max Verstappen this year, though. I am living for him. Just his attitude and his. We have Gig Sauber here. So it was Sauber, BMW Sauber, Alfa Romeo, Gig Sauber, and next year it will be Audi. And then we have Williams, which from 1978 to present has remained the same name. We had Imola, Kimi Antonelli's home race, and then Monaco, Charles here. This was 2024, I would assume, when he won. Lando Norris won this year. The narrow, iconic street circuit offers few passing opportunities, so much so that three-time world champion Nelson Piquet, you all are gonna murder me for not knowing that name, once likened it to riding a bicycle around your living room. Nevertheless, its challenge is so unique that drivers love the circuit anyway, considering it a true driver's track because of its twists and turns and the mental concentration required from start to finish. Being run on normal streets, the track is very narrow and cambered, in contrast to the tight, precise nature of the racing. Away from the track, race weekends is one long party with millionaires' boats moored up in the harbor around which the race is run. It's in Monaco. The first Grand Prix was in 1950, so the inaugural year. It is 3.337 kilometers or 2.073 miles. It is 78 laps. The race distance is 260.286 kilometers or 161.734 miles. The lap record 112.909 by Lewis Hamilton in 2021. I think, correct me if I'm wrong, I think it was broken this year. I think. I know that it was broken in qualifying, but I don't know about the race, so someone let me know. And then we had Spain, the Spanish Grand Prix, which this was its last year. Next year we will be going to Madrid. The Hall of Fame meets some of the most successful drivers in the history of Formula One. Look how young Lewis Hamilton looks here. He graduated from McLaren's Young Driver program and made an immediate impression in 2007, missing out on the Drivers' Championship by a single point in the most impressive rookie season F1 has seen. The margin between first and second was 1 point again in 2008, but this time Hamilton was the driver on the top of the podium. He added 6 more titles in 7 years after a surprise move to Mercedes in 2013 to take advantage of the German constructor's dominant engine before joining Ferrari in 2025. 7 Drivers' Championships, most race wins, which is 105, and most pole positions, 104. Niki Lauda, Sebastian Vettel, Jim Clark, Max Verstappen. Oh my gosh, he looks so young. I mean, he was. 4 Drivers' Championships. Most consecutive race wins, which is 10. Most race wins in a single season, 19. Michael Schumacher. Also tied for the most Drivers' Championships, 7 Drivers' Championships. Ayrton Senna. Most Monaco Grand Prix wins, 6. Ayrton is just I think he's like my favorite, like, former driver. I just love his story so much. Fit to drive, how Formula One drivers prepare for the rigors of the season. Alright, Canada, we are here. We just had the Canadian Grand Prix. It's located in Montreal, Canada. The first Grand Prix was in 1978. The circuit length is 4.36 kilometers or 2.709 miles. It's 70 laps and it's a 305.27 kilometer or 189.68 mile race. And the lap record is 1:13.078 by Valtteri Bottas in 2019. It's the fastest low downforce circuit in Montreal. It's like the fast low downforce circuit in Montreal is liked by the drivers because of its stop-start nature involving lots of chicanes, which require heavy braking at the end of the lap of the iconic Wall of Champions. So called because Jacques Villeneuve, Michael Schumacher, and Damon Hill all detoured into it in the same year. The circuit's origins lie in the creation of the man-made Notre Dame Island. See, me being American, Notre Dame, built in the middle of the St. Lawrence River to host the 1967 Expo and the 67 World Fair. 9 years later, the 1976 Montreal Olympic Games used the island, and after that, it became the permanent home of the Canadian Grand Prix. Initially, it was called the Circuit Notre Dame, but was renamed Circuit Villeneuve. I'm so bad at French. In the Canadian driver's honor, Villeneuve. I'm probably still saying it wrong. At least I know who it is. Up next, we have Austria. So this will be Max Verstappen in Red Bull's home race. Name changes and remodeling have not stopped the circuit from being a popular one. And then we go to Silverstone, which is the first and last word in high-speed excitement. This is the first circuit in 1950. F1 had its inaugural race at Silverstone. I'm not sure. Let's see. I know Silverstone was the first Grand Prix, but I don't know if it was this exact circuit. Maybe y'all can let me know. I know Silverstone was, but I'm sure there's been modifications to the circuit, but I don't know if it's like this exact one. But I would assume so. This just talks about like race control and I love this so much. vehicles at every race. In Formula One, every second counts. The incredibly powerful cars are built for speed, but they need careful maintenance to complete a race. Fortunately, the driver's team of mechanics are ready and waiting in the pit lane to restore the car to an optimal condition in lightning fast time before the car even pulls to a stop. The pit crews get to work on changing tires, clearing debris in it, adjusting the changing parts of the vehicle. By following a precise rehearsed routine, teams complete their work in less than 3 seconds on average, and considering race winners have been decided by the differences of under a fifth of a second, the best pit crew can be the difference of a champion needs. Sorry, that was like right in the middle of my nose when I was reading it. So you can see all of the pit crew here. So we have the rear jack, the wheel fitting, the gunman, wheel removal, firefighter. A crew with firefighting equipment are always ready in case of an emergency. We saw a couple cars in IndyCar this past weekend catch fire, but IndyCar still refuels, which is so dangerous. But I mean, it is what it is. The Belgian circuit is beautiful. Circuit de Spa. It's gorgeous. Like, it's just the elevation, dude. It's beautiful. Hungary, Netherlands. Maybe we can come revisit these when the races have taken place. I feel like that would be a good time to come back to a lot of this. Oh my God! Look at Lewis and Sebastian Vettel. Oh. Yeah, I was reading ahead of this. While it was Lando Norris who applied pressure to Verstappen's ultimately successful pursuit of a fourth consecutive Drivers' Championship, it was another British driver who caused sparks to fly off the track. Verstappen and Russell had words in 2022, but before the 2024 Abu Dhabi Grand Prix, it turned into a full-blown row. Russell accused Verstappen of being a bully and said that he cannot deal with adversity, while Verstappen felt Russell was out of order for pushing for a penalty against him in qualifying. If Russell has a competitive car in 2025, we could see more clashes to come. And boy, did we see more clashes to come. We saw Max Verstappen get mad in Spain, and then George ultimately winning in Canada, but also poking the bear. So trust me, I'm not either side. I like Max. Now, I did not like him last year, but that's because once anyone starts going for Lando, I get feisty. But yeah, I mean, I just think George is just he's just George. And then you see all of the drivers of the 2024 season. So Sergio Perez, Checo, Daniel Ricciardo, Joe Guan Yu, Kevin Magnussen, gosh, why am I trying to blank? Logan Sargent. Nico Hülkenberg is not on Haas anymore. Valtteri Bottas. I think everyone else is the same. Yeah. McLaren winning the Constructors' Championship. The first one to win in over 20 years. His first place win. His first place win in Miami. Lewis winning his 4th World Championship. Oscar Piastri's consistent performance all year helped McLaren clinch the Constructors' title, and now he is on his way to becoming a world champion. But it's not over. It could go anyway. The United States Grand Prix, the second of 3 American Grand Prix. COTA is a great circuit for racing. I didn't realize this until last week. The circuit is designed to look like a bat. Because Austin is very famous for their bats. I think it's a little... It is what it is. I'm like, they're like birds. They're not that... I mean, I think they're great for nature, but it's just funny people, you know. I sat right... I didn't sit on any part. So you're at the S's right here. And like turn 3 is like over here, so I sat over here. And then I went to turn 1. And then I also watched like qualifications on like turn... This is 15. I think it was like turn 19, so it's like way over right here. So I sat here, went to turn 1, also went on like the paddock, and then I watched practice and qualifying over here. Mexico City, Brazil, very famous circuit. Interlagos, the Tifosi, and then the 2025 season preview. This campaign right here is one of the most crazy campaigns to me. You just think about like all of the marketing and like the history and the shock that this move made. And I'm not saying it wasn't warranted by any means. I'm just saying that like this guy made headlines and then Ferrari backed him, which great, they should. And just Ferrari is just like, they're not winning. They're not doing anything to put themselves ahead. And like their relationships between both him and his engineer and Charles and his engineer, like there's just no cohesion. And I like Ferrari a lot. So I hope they get their shit together. I think every Ferrari fan is thinking the same thing. Speaking of getting their shit together, that's my boy. But he better get his shit together. I'm glad that he crashed. I'm glad that it happened. I mean, I'm not glad for him, but I honestly, like, it was an error in judgment. He raised his hand. He took accountability. But McLaren, it's McLaren's fault. They need to pick a number 1 driver, and they need to prioritize that driver. And Lando has always been given, well, you don't risk it, you don't like take risks, you don't, you know, whatever. Oh my gosh, there's a fly in here. I'm about to get off here and kill that thing. And so I'm not glad he wrecked, but I'm glad that he took the risk. This is already outdated. Yuki is at Red Bull now. Liam's back at Racing Bulls. Jack Doohan is no longer there. Franco Colapinto is at Alpine. I think that's the only thing that's different. And then we have the drivers, or the F1 schedule here. So we are right here at the Canadian Grand Prix. So we still have Austrian, British, Belgian, Hungarian, Dutch, Italian, Azerbaijan, Singapore, United States, Mexico City, Sao Paulo, Las Vegas, Qatar, and Abu Dhabi. I have mixed feelings things about Las Vegas. I would love to go. If anyone knows or wants to sponsor this channel and have me do any videos, I will spend as long as you want me out there. Let me know. And then Qatar. And then Abu Dhabi, which is like, I love this. I don't necessarily like racing on this on the game, but I do enjoy looking at it. I think it's such a pretty circuit. The rising tide of F1, a boom time for the sport with popularity higher than ever. This was at Imola, I believe. I think F1 draws huge crowds of fans at every race weekend, come rain or shine. I think this was Imola. Maybe. I don't know. I think so. I don't know. I don't know. Oh, look at Lewis. And also, like, please take in mind that this is 100% unofficial. What is the future of F1? Sustainable fuels. Slimming down, so the new cars are going to be smaller. They're going to be less heavy and more compact. Net zero carbon emissions. New circuits. An inclusive sport. In years to come, we may start to see the impact of F1's diversity and inclusion charter. The sport has launched initiatives to help address issues of underrepresentation on the track, in the paddock, and behind the scenes. This includes a variety of projects from STEM, outreach, and engineering scholarships to increase support in grassroots karting. Something that is really cool that is on Netflix right now is F1 Academy. I watched my first F1 Academy race this weekend. They're like 17 laps. They're like a really great introduction to racing, new teams, and then going electric. This may be a longer shot, but F1 already utilizes hybrid technology and is looking into the use of fully electric engines. The use of sustainable fuels is expected to take precedence for now, but the future may well be electric. This would inevitably lead to questions regarding a potential takeover or merge with the existing Formula E championship. And then we have the sport bookazines at their best. So this is like the publication that puts all of these together. Obviously, so they did this. Icons of Formula One celebrate F1's all-time greats. It's now on sale, but don't worry, it's 100% unofficial. It's published by this company, Future. I mean, I think this was a really good magazine or like publication. The complete guide to Formula One, the cars, drivers, teams, circuits, and more. And so we saw these exploration of the tracks, 2025 and beyond, behind the scenes, and a brief history. I mean, even though it was 100% unofficial, I thought that this was it's a great book. I mean, I have quite a few books now and publications. This might be a good book to like cut up if you want like specific pictures. Like this would be a great picture to frame, or if you want like any like projects or presentations that you're doing, like ripping this out and, you know, either framing it or putting it on a poster for a presentation if you have to do something. I think this is great. And I mean, I didn't read anything. Obviously, I read stuff that I didn't know or names I didn't know, but I think that like this would be great to this was a great time to spend with you. I didn't think we were gonna go through, most of this, if not all of it, but I'm glad we did. I'm glad that you were here. Please make sure to like or subscribe if you're not subscribed. I would really appreciate it. That kind of helps this channel. I want to do more. I want to go to more races. I want to go travel and do more things, more reviews. So I mean, this even just a simple subscription it does help the channel. And I hate saying that because you watch every YouTube video and they're like, make sure to like, comment, and subscribe, but I mean, they say it for a reason. I cannot thank you all enough. We're past 250 subscribers now. Continue to let me know what you like. Anything that you have ideas about, I'll take into consideration. I hope you were able to cross the finish line into relaxation and enjoy this complete guide to Formula One, the 100% unofficial 2025 preview. Until next time.